on Earth?
No, there has been a mistake and there has been a delay, but you're going to be destroyed anyway in 4 minutes. But everything is fine. You have traveled to Mars.
Okay.
Look, I just wanted to say that
If I was in his shoes, it wouldn't matter to me that my copy on Mars had all my memories. I would still be going to die. This was a serious blow to the idea that I was my memories.
The fact that my replica has all my memories and is in every other way just like me psychologically, that isn't enough to make him me. And that's brought out both by the case in which they make him while I'm still alive, and by the fact that if they can make one replica with the information, they could make 100 all at the same time. Now, I wouldn't be 100 different people who each seem to remember living my life. I wouldn't even be 2 of them, but 100 is clearly too much.
Yeah.
So memory doesn't, in that sense, guarantee identity.
I still couldn't accept that my copy on Mars was the real me. In that sense, he was right. Memories weren't enough. But I knew they should be. You are your memories, even if those memories were false. That's what I'd learned from Zoe. Zoe had narcolepsy and lucid dreaming, which meant she was always falling asleep, and in a way that blurred the boundary between sleep and waking. So she couldn't tell her dreams from reality.
The memories I have of lucid dreams are only distinguished from my memories of reality if I make a really massive effort to label them, as it were, file them away.
Yeah.
So if I wake up and I make sure that I go kind of go through just quickly, what was in the dream, and recognise it as a dream.
Those lucid dreams you remember as well as reality.
Yeah, it's just the same. Yeah. When I go to sleep, my body goes to sleep. My mind just stays awake in a full sleep, and I just am totally conscious through my sleep.
So you're conscious while you're asleep?
Yeah, and so I dream as well. I get like a screen goes back, and it literally just opens up, and I'm in a different reality. And I'm actually there. I can stand up and walk around, and it might be in the same room that I'm actually in, but it's all in my head. Sometimes I actually leave. I'm conscious that I'm leaving. My consciousness is leaving the body that's asleep.
Your consciousness has left it. Yeah, leaving you what? In a dream unconscious state?
It's like, so it feels like I'm actually walking around the room.
Yeah.
But then you go into another room and it's not the room that is next to it, it's a different room. So I know that it's in my mind. One of the other things you get is people come into the room and they'll sit on my bed and talk to me, and they're totally in character, and what they say is totally in character, and then they'll go out again. Now if that happens, then when I wake up I will not know if they've actually done that, unless I know that that person wasn't in the house. If that could have feasibly happened, that they did come in, I'll have to ask them, or I won't actually know if it did happen or not.
So even with a mind full of false memories, you still had a self. It was the substance of your memories that mattered, not its truth or falsehood. So if I copied my mind into another body, did he become a copy of myself? Would he be as convinced as me that he was me? And if he found that he himself had been copied, would he feel as disturbed as me that he wasn't the only one? And a third one. Was he me too? Were we 3 me? Hang on. I could see the possibility of that argument, but somehow, deep down, I still felt there was a basic, real me. Something absolute. Something more than memories that couldn't be copied.
I think we discover that we think that we are the kind of entity that must either exist or not exist. There must always be a definite answer to the question, will it be me? Now, I think that might have been true. It would be true if what each of us really was a soul, a Cartesian ego or immaterial substance. Because souls thought of that way were thought of as like what atoms were once thought to be. That's to say, they're ultimate and they're indivisible, and either it exists or it doesn't. Whether it exists or not is always a clear-cut matter. Now, even people who don't believe in the soul, and that's true of many, probably most people today, they still think about their own identity, whether I shall wake up again, in a way that I think could only be justified if there were souls, if that's what each of us really was. I mean, take Hume's example, the analogy between a person and a nation. A nation consists in a group of people living together on a territory. Now, I don't think the nation is that territory, and I don't think the nation is that group of people. But the existence of a nation doesn't involve anything over and above a group of people living on a territory. And that's the way I think we should think about persons. I'm not just this physical object. I'm not a series of experiences. But there's nothing more to my existence than a series of thoughts and experiences that are closely connected to this body.
Me and my mum. 17 Carlett Boulevard, Eastern Wirral, Cheshire. To Hayfield Gardens, Ilford, Essex, England, the world, the solar system. He was right. I did feel that I was more than memories. Perhaps I did believe in the soul, without even realizing it. And maybe that's why all the arguments had failed to really convince me. Oh, I recall the chickens.
We all know that we're not the same as we were when we were 6 years old. We're not the same people even as 10 years ago.
I don't think we have a self, but the illusion of the self is our refusal to understand our roots and our sources. I think it's very important that a person have some kind of coherent fiction about all of their parts, or else you won't function. And that's what you call I.
If you think of yourself or your mind a little bit like a room that's never the same really from one week to the next, and over the years you might change things around. It will be yours and it will have that stamp of you, even though it's an evolving you and a changing you.
Why are we built to think that we do have a coherent self?
A little bit of magic.
But what kind of thing is it? A self-meta program.
The illusion of a self. Qualia. Subconscious.
Well, let's pretend that we're all just self.
In the end, like Minsky said, the important thing was to have a fiction you believed in. And I finally knew what mine was. What I am myself is a room. And some things come and go, and some things come and stay. But everything that is in it, that will be in it, that was in it, is me. Whether I'm thinking about it, whether I'm remembering it, whether I'm looking at it or not, it is me. The society of me. And my qualias are my qualias, and your qualias are your qualias. And a conscious machine's qualias will be that conscious machine's qualias. If you want my personal qualia on all of this, it's this, that there is still something that makes us us. And even if it's nothing, it's a very real kind of magical nothing. So I find that I do believe, I believe in nothing.